Tech Syndicate has decided to spend your Patreon money on upgrading their house. Behold the new Tech Syndicate facilities, complete with everything. Ever.
We've even got a Christmas tree.
Getting started, my foot's already asleep. We're sitting on the floor. I'm hungry.
And our new castle.
Yeah, this is our new castle right here. You guys like our... Wonderful. We're in Portland right now, and we're looking for places to live, but the show must go on, so you guys are getting a damn show whether you like it or not. It's coming a day late.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm going to complain for about another minute, and if anyone's still here watching, there's going to be one awesome show here. This is the first tech we've ever done sitting on the floor because the table that was provided in our Airbnb is about 1 foot off the ground, and we would have had to sit in a chair with our heads like almost between our knees and our feet up by our ears like a bunch of strange
like
birds.
Like a LAN party when I was younger. No, there was another table, but it was like literally this big. It's so small that the entire laptop would encompass the entire surface of it. A little higher, but still.
I would call it a tablet, but that would confuse people.
Yeah, they'd think you're talking about the new... Never mind, that's later on.
Later on. So, let's go ahead and get down to the business that is at hand. This is going to be a slightly shorter episode, and I want to say thanks to everybody for doing whatever the hell I'm thanking you guys for. So, took care of that, right?
Yeah.
Now, Google has said for a while now that they're not going to be building their own self-driving car. They just want to make the software, and they want to do all that kind of stuff. But, oh yeah, I keep touching the table. They just hired, Robert Rose. He's the engineering manager at Tesla, who was working on some of their self-driving stuff. So what's Google up to here?
I think that Google is going to maintain they're not going to build a car, but the automation system in a car is not necessarily going, the auto driving system in a car is not necessarily going to be, it's not going to be the whole car. I mean, look at BMW, look at Volkswagen, look at Mercedes, and what's the other one I'm thinking of? Lexus. The navigation systems that are built into those are all made by a third-party company. They just rebrand them and add a couple of bits and pieces. That's why that whole thing with the Volkswagen and the navigation system that was recent and the wireless hacks with Ford and all of those companies were potentially affected by it because it's all the same. Well, it's all comes from the same back end. Yeah, same back end, same technology. Same. I say that, and people are going to be out there and be like, "No, this one's this company, and this one's that." But you get my idea.
They all have the same demons.
Yeah, my point is that there's not. Volkswagen doesn't make their own navigation system. They hire an outsourcing company to make their own navigation system. I think Google is looking to be the company that is going to make that auto drive system for a car, including the automated steering, all of that kind of jazz. Is all going to be something that they want to build, and including the.
Allow me to bend the conversation. So Apple, they're secretly making a self-driving car.
Allegedly.
Let's look at this in terms of the Android market, because right now you have Google that makes their software and puts it on everyone's device. They put it on the BMWs, the Lexus. They put it on, not Nokia anymore, but they put it on LG and Samsung and all these different devices out there. Yeah. Apple controls their market. So Apple's making their own version of this thing. But what if Google decides, you know what, let's make a Nexus car, the Google Nexus car. We make the software for all the other cars. We've got the maps and all that stuff. Why don't we go ahead and make a Nexus car? And what if they make several other variations of that? What if, in the future, a lot of the companies that are controlling the technology, because in the next, years, we're going to have 20 million, self-driving cars on the road.
Yeah, but you got to remember that there's a lot more to a car than just the automation system and then the self-driving part of it. I mean, there's an engine, whether that be like the Tesla Motors AC engine that
they're
drives
not going to make
car.
The engine. It's just
that's
like a Nexus device. Or they could even outsource it. Like they do with a lot of the Nexus devices. They use Huawei or Asus or some other company to make those. But they could get BMW to make the Google version. I don't know. Maybe it would be perfectly branded with their software.
No, that's fine, but it's still not Google making the car. That's Google providing the it's not Google saying, here's our automation system, run with it. It's Google going, okay, we're going to dispatch some guys to come to your manufacturing line and we will help you implement the Google branded version, as you said, like you get the Nexus device. It's the Google, it's the Google
It's pretty much
tablet.
the Google brand.
But
I mean,
it's not. I mean, doesn't Google own parts of Motorola at this point?
yeah, they pretty much own Motorola
So why
at this
is
point.
Asus making the? Why is Asus making the
Motorola's
tablet?
not doing much of anything these days. I don't
But,
know.
anyway, my point is that I think Google's going to maintain this, but they're going to. Will they happily integrate with companies to make these auto-driving cars?
I'm very uncomfortable.
I know, and you keep bumping the table, and
Can't
people are going to be
help
like, "Why you keep bumping the
I'm
microphone?"
a goddamn giant sitting in the floor.
Yeah, I know.
That's how much I care about you guys.
It's true. Anyway, my point is that I don't think Google is going to do that. They might have the Google. Yeah, you're still doing that. I mean, they might have like I said, they might have a
Don't have
Google
anywhere to put
specific
anything.
one, but I don't think they will have. They will be making the vehicles themselves and putting the big Google name on top of it. I mean, even the stuff that they're doing right now, this is all prototyping, and they're buying somebody else's car and then retrofitting it with what they want to do with
I
it.
don't know. I think we'll see a Google branded car whether they make it or not.
I think you'll find Nexus is Nexus with Android, Google's Android,
Right.
not T-Mobile's Android. Asus did not go, this is the Asus Android, this is Google's Android. So you might
Right.
see a BMW with the Google Auto Driver as opposed to the Tesla car, which may have the Tesla Auto Driver, or maybe Tesla will turn around and be like, you know what? That Google Auto Drive stuff is better than what we were doing because the guy that was building ours left and went and joined them. Regardless, they may end up with a Tesla version of the Auto Driver.
You
where
know what?
BMW's got the...
If Google can't take care of their segmentation problem with the Android operating system, think about what would happen in the future if they're controlling a lot of the software, but they're letting each, BMW and all these guys have their own versions of the software. Then you're going to be sitting there dealing with, the Nissan experience while you're trying to get somewhere and it won't turn off and you're like, oh God, my car has bloatware. Why does my car have bloatware? What if that's what's going to happen?
I think everyone is going to end up with advertisements in the middle of their car, and it's going to drive me insane.
You're going to be sitting
no
there like...
pun intended on that one. Now, Apple, however... Apple's been known for going... This is the Apple version of this, and it's not, we just branded it, it's... We built this. We invented this. We invented this car. Shut the front door.
Who are you worried about?
Yeah, anyway, I'm expecting more Apple to do that than Google.
Yeah. All right, let's move on here.
Minority Report is now real.
So in LA, this is kind of an interesting thing. They use a lot of data. People like driving around with camera data, taking pictures of their car, monitoring where they come and go. But now they're thinking of doing something kind of weird. They're going to start taking pictures of dudes' cars when they drive through neighborhoods that are known for like prostitution. And it'd be like, all right, so a dude drove through this neighborhood. There's prostitutes in this neighborhood. We're going to send him a letter saying, Dear John, and give him a warning that, like, hey, listen, you could have slept with a girl who was underage, or you could be aiding in the trafficking industry. They're going to send these letters out to people, whether or not they're guilty, just based upon their metadata they're collecting, because they're in a spot that makes them seem as if they might be up to no good.
I think there's two sides of this that really bother me. One is the privacy function of you're driving your car through a neighborhood, happens to be this, hey, maybe it's you and me, we're driving around looking for a place to live. That kind of mentality, what's going on. You're like, wait a minute, I don't really like the looks of this neighborhood, let's get out of there. And suddenly a letter gets sent to our house going, oh, by the way, yeah, you guys, seriously, you gotta leave those prostitutes alone. Some of them are 12.
Yeah, that says that they're
And I'm like,
watching.
wait, what?
They're watching us. And I don't
I mean,
care
that's
for
just
that.
creepy onto itself. The other side of this that bothers me is that the reason they're thinking of this is to try to reduce the demand for prostitution by scaring people straight, adding this level of deterrent. And I'm like, hey, let's not. It's if you're looking at the supply and demand of a business, instead of going after the supply, which I guess they're already doing, but they're not doing very well.
So uncomfortable.
But they're trying to attack the demand side of the business, which they're trying to attack the demand based on window shoppers. Maybe not even window shoppers. Maybe you just happen to be driving down that, you're walking past the candy section, but you're doing it because it's a shortcut to the meat section. Or maybe you're doing a
That's a
shortcut
really
to the...
bad analogy.
No, that's exactly what it is, though. You're driving past the candy section, you're looking for the meat section.
Yeah, and then you turn down Whore Avenue, and you're like, I wonder what could be on Whore Avenue. Oh my.
That's Horse Avenue. Somebody just,
Someone was
crossed
funny.
off the S. Anyway, my point is that they're busting people. Hey, you could have bought candy. Well, yeah, that's great. I could have bought candy, but I didn't. I bought Stacy instead. I mean, but seriously, it's... I don't know. I think that the you kick the supply chain and the demand. Well, I guess demand's going to be there no matter what.
Yeah.
We're human, and it's a terrible thing.
People's got needs, man, even though it's sad.
This article's kind of weird. This one, it touches on some real stuff, but it's written in such a weird way, and it's talking about, it brings in the sensationalist crap about, what the hell is his name? The Silk Road guy. Ross Ulrich. He said, maybe these guys had this stuff infected on his system. But then I started digging around and looked up where this picture came from, and the actual papers that are, again, that supposedly came out of this stuff, the leaked documents, were basically saying that these God mode, specifically, or God surge, which they're referencing here is the thing that infects your system, is actually a module that uses a JTAG port on a Dell server.
So it's
at least that's what the,
so this does
the paper
affect
says.
Dells. What about deity bounce? I mean, that's like malware.
That one right there.
Get that? I mean,
that one.
Or is that obvious? Does that need God surge?
Again, the paper, the information that I read that where like this graphic came from, it said that it was all designed for Dell servers. But the exploit could be used in any CPU on the market. It uses the SMM, or the system management mode, which is like where APM lives, and it's the stuff that they implemented to do that kind of stuff for advanced power management back in the day. I mean, this stuff has been around since 486 and the x86. Everything in the x86 has got this SMM, which is also Ring 2 for all you CPU happy code people. So the God Surge is something that, according to the papers, blatantly says that it was for Dell servers, and then the what was the other one? The malware version of it was the God Bounce, or Deity Bounce, and that one was...
All I'm thinking about is how bad my leg hurts, and it's asleep.
That's fine. Anyway, Deity Bounce that's the actual malware that takes advantage of the SMM. Anyway, moving along. Read up on this stuff. It's very scary and interesting.
When Jay and Barclays did their show and they were sitting on the floor, they were having a lot more fun, but they were mostly like rolling around and drunk.
Yeah.
We should have done this rolling around drunk.
That's vodka.
It's fuzz water. Straight out of the mountains of somewheresville. Okay, so encryption backdoor is a bad idea. This is an opinion piece here, but, all the different government agencies and just everyone wants a backdoor into everything, so they're pushing for it. And, I mean, you even have like people like Hillary Clinton and that sort of thing who are out there saying, like, we need a way. We're not against encryption. We just need a way in. We need a back door so that we can get in there and look around at all your stuff anytime we want to.
It's the same principle of your luggage when you have a lock in your luggage that the TSA has to be able to open it. So you get the TSA authorized luggage that has like the TSA key that opens up all of them.
Well, guess
the problem is if somebody were to get that key that's not a TSA guy, everybody can open your luggage. And that's really the idea here, is that if you create a backdoor into an encrypted system, one, you are building an exploit into the system. So the moment somebody figures out what that is, everybody has access to everything, which kind of is, defeating the point, right?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be better than only a few people having access to it, because then it would just be like everything's out in the open. But it would be mayhem.
Well, I mean, it'd just be like not having encryption.
Yeah.
Which
bad idea.
Again, bad idea. The other thing is that if the U.S. government has access to it, the Chinese government needs to have access to it. The Russian government needs to have access to it. And there would be nothing legally really stopping anything other than like, no, we don't want you to have it. We want to have it so we can look at it.
Except the Greeks, they can't have it.
Yeah. The devices are everywhere.
They can have Rotting Christ.
Isn't that a band?
Yeah, it's only a band. It's not nothing else.
Well, I mean, I guess he resurrected, so he didn't really rot at all. Anyway, speaking of
was he
weird,
in Greece?
I have no idea.
Guys, have you picked up your Land Syndicate tickets yet? You should get them like immediately.
And if you're not going to be able to go, send them to your friends. I mean, seriously. I mean, we've only sold we have sold a handful of tickets, not a whole lot. I'm going to be frank and honest with you guys. It's like we want this venue to fill up, and this isn't about making money. This is about paying for the venue and having this event, because we really want to have this event.
To be really, really honest, if we don't sell like another couple hundred tickets before the end of the year, that's going to be rough.
Yeah.
Because I won't be able to pay for the venue. I'll figure it out, but yeah. But guys, they're $75 right now. So if you're gonna go ahead and grab them now before the end of the year. It'll help us make sure we pay for the venue to ensure that there's lower stress and all that kind of crap.
And like I said, the other way you can help us out with this is if you know people either in the area or who would be interested in going, share the link with them, share the idea, say, hey, this is really awesome. Especially if you are here if you're in the Seattle area, spread the word, tell people what's going on, let people know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get naked and paint it on your body and run through downtown.
And then let us know so we can come and videotape it.
I'll give you $1. Also, the Glencairn whiskey glasses. That is a lot of whiskey. I don't think that's whiskey. You think you put in there juice?
I'm like, what is he doing? I mean,
I freaking love these things.
I mean, that's a lot of whiskey, and I drink it all, but...
All right, for everyone who always wants to know, where did you make this? This better be made in America. No, this is made in Germany, as a matter of fact. So, yeah. Anyways, all kinds of new stuffs on the store. The Krampus shirt. This is, I freaking love the artwork on the shirt. It's ridiculous.
I think it's fantastic. Santa just looks really pissed.
Yeah, Santa's, I don't know. Who would you guys, I'm going to pick Krampus. I don't know. Santa's does some pretty insane things, though, if you like.
I don't think he's got toys in that sack this time around. I mean, I think he's just gonna beat Krampus over the head with it. I mean, it's gonna be. I'm not
full of bricks.
I am yet undecided with my vote on which one's gonna win this battle. I'm just saying that they've been in this battle a long time, and in all reality, they're kind of in the same way. I think honestly, what happens is, Santa Claus's story is that if you're nice, you get toys. If you're naughty, he gives you a lump of coal. And in all reality, I think he should start giving naughty kids Krampus bait, and they should work together.
I don't know. Anyway. So that's the store. Thanks you guys for grabbing all the cool stuff on there. Move right along here. This is just a quick thing I want to mention because Google sort of has a double standard going on. They're monitoring children when they said they weren't going to monitor children. I'll see if I can find the exact quote here. Minors shouldn't be tracked or used as guinea pigs. So they're talking about that for all their data that they're always collecting. As soon as you have a Google account, they're collecting everything you do. So this story is about a bunch of kids. They all have Chromebooks. A lot of them are required for use in different school projects. But Google is monitoring and harvesting all the data just like a regular Google account. It's like what they normally do for anybody. But EFF's a little bit upset with it. Google has said, hey, okay, we'll make sure we don't monitor them, but we're still going to monitor them a little bit. That's I'm paraphrasing it. But
they're finding that fine line where they say nothing is personally identifiable, but yet we all know, and we've all gone over this several times, is that the moment you have a running record of data about some individual's behaviors, you can build a profile on them. Now, maybe what they're trying to say that they're doing is that they're collecting all of the trending and data, but they're not using any individual account. It's like you can't look it up by an individual account. Maybe it's just one big aggregate of information. I don't know. Bottom line is that they said they weren't going to do it, and they're doing it, and I don't like that.
I don't know how you stop Google from collecting everything on everyone. That's just what they do. And this is what they've been about from the beginning. They weren't building a search engine. On day one, if you went up to the guys and were like, "Hey, Google, what are you guys working on? A search engine?" We're not building a search engine. They were always building an AI, and they were always harvesting data. They were always building algorithms and creating an AI that can learn about us. Seen the time?
Yes, it did. Rant 30. Comcast. Stream TV. Sucks ass.
At the end of the show. Let's go eat
my
now.
Rant. Was that 30 seconds?
Yeah, no, it was about 15, but it's time to go eat. So anyway, Comcast has created a new streaming TV service that is exempt from the rules of net neutrality. Therefore, it doesn't count against data bandwidth caps, giving them an unfair advantage against everything else from Roku to what are those other things called? Sling to Netflix to any other service that would be using your regular data and going against your bandwidth cap. But Comcast is like, well, listen, it doesn't count, and it's not like we're giving unfair exemption because we're not really using the internet. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean?
Now, to be fair, not really, but I'm going to try really hard.
You're not going to tell me they're right, are they?
No. Well, yes, but no. That's not what I'm going to get at. I still think this is a big, shady pile of crap.
So they're a pile of bullshit, but it is true bullshit.
And that's the problem.
The bullshit is real.
Because they're trying to say that they're not using the internet, but they are using their cable network, which, when you start to look at it from that perspective, it's like you hired a bunch of really smart network engineer lawyers, didn't you? Because that's bullshit, if I've ever heard it. Because basically what they're saying is that on the cable network of Comcast, which is all of the little wires that they've got running all over the place within their own autonomous system, is not the internet. So if you were to get on your computer and you were to talk to your friend who's at the also a Comcast subscriber or an Xfinity subscriber down the street, and your communication was peer-to-peer and it never actually left the Comcast network, you're not actually accessing the internet. Mm-hmm. And that's what they're trying to say. Even though you're just using the local network, which from a networking standpoint, that's clever. It's right, it's clever, and it's bullshit, because we have been taught that the internet as a concept is all of these computers and all of these systems communicating over several carriers and several whatnots.
Yeah.
And they're basically saying if it never leaves the Comcast network, therefore it doesn't use the internet. Which I'm sitting here going, you know what? At that point, Netflix paying them, or them paying Netflix to put Netflix servers inside of the Comcast networks, or for Netflix to peer directly with Comcast, should also not count against your bandwidth, because that's what they're trying to get to.
Because it's not on the internet.
Because it's not on the internet. And
yeah,
I'm like, wait, what?
So if Netflix is inside the Comcast facility and they're using that as their caching machine, the ones that Netflix provided, that not on the internet.
And that's what they want us to be saying. Yep, see, there you go.
But I think the definition of the internet is kind of morphed and changed into almost any traffic that goes over, distances from servers to homes, even if it's within Comcast's footprint, the entire thing, it's still, I don't know how it would hold up in court, but to me, it's still pretty much the internet. Come on. If one guy buys the entire internet and says it's no longer the internet because it's all my local network.
That's exactly what they're saying, and that's exactly what they're doing.
It's just stupid.
I mean, it's like you look at small communities. Like there's an island out in the outskirts of Seattle that they had a difficult time with the internet connectivity from the local ISPs. So they banded together. The community of people actually banded together. Put up we talked about this in the Tech a couple weeks back. Mm-hmm. They put a microwave dish on the top of their water tower, and they actually rented the space from the local water company that owns the tower, so they could get direct microwave connectivity to wireless transmissions to the mainland. And then they cut themselves off from the outside infrastructure on a wired level. So all of the infrastructure inside of the island is all internal. So if
like
they're
internet or something,
and so that's now like this internal network. But basically, all they've done is just changed where the internet comes from. Being the internet meaning the cloud of things you don't have any connectivity to.
Why did I feel the need to look over there?
No, because it's over that way. The cloud.
The internet is somewhere over there.
Over there.
That's the definition that would hold up in court. What is the internet? Oh, it's a thing over there somewhere. It's no longer a series of tubes.
I mean, yeah, it's no longer. Yeah. So I mean, the principle behind this mentality that Comcast is trying to convey is that, like, if you have a LAN party such as like PDX LAN, LAN Syndicate, or like QuakeCon or DreamHack, all of the computers inside of that network are not on the internet. So they can connect to the internet, but anything that travels in between all that stuff is not on the internet. You're not using your external bandwidth. And that's where Comcast is saying, we're just like that. And
it's dangerous. This sort of nonsense and double talk is dangerous. Yeah, they may be correct from one way, but it's still using data, and it's still stuff going through the pipes, and it's going to clog the pipes. And one of the reasons for the data bandwidth caps in the first place was to help ease up some of the congestion. But this is not going to ease up any congestion. I mean, it's still going to create congestion because let's think about this. They're saying that it's using their TV service, right? So if that's the case, then is this TCP/IP? I mean,
well, it's coming in over your network, and you're accessing it from your laptop, you're accessing it from a tablet, and you can only access it from 2 devices at a time.
Or is it coming from the separate data stream that is the just regular cable TV?
Nope, it's coming in over your network. My question isn't so much does this count against my data cap, but if I had 2 devices streaming HD content into the home, does that count against my internet access bandwidth? So if I'm paying for 200 megs, does that eat up part of my 200 meg connectivity? Because that's just a throttled connection anyway.
There's one thing you have to think about, and not a lot of people even talk about this. In fact, I think it really needs to be talked about more because I'm not exactly 100% sure how it all works together. But ever since we switched over to digital, as far as television goes, it's all just been data. It's all been data. It's no longer an analog signal. So if you've got a coax coming to your home and it's delivering your internet at like 100 megabits per second, there's also a ton of data potential there for the television that's just there.
But it's not coming in over a TCP/IP
No,
or
still DOCSIS.
It's all of it's coming over via DOCSIS, and then it's encapsulated TCP/IP.
But it could be because it's data.
But it could be, yeah. That's the real question.
Your connection with Comcast could be way faster if you weren't, if it wasn't for their focus on television.
Well, that's where they make all their money.
That's messed up.
I think that the fact that they're going over the exact same system, and then you look at like DSL. DSL was a little different, but DSL was running over the phone line. So is that meaning that your television, your telephone service, and your DSL, are they one and the same? Because they're operating on different frequencies. It's the same wires, but is it the same thing? And that's kind of where I think where Comcast is. They've separated them out. We've got Xfinity over there, but they're treating the underlying technology like it's the same thing. So is it the same thing?
Yeah, I want more of the back end of this stuff. If you're someone who works at Comcast and you're willing to talk to us, and I promise I won't berate you while I'm there, let me know because I'd like to know how this stuff works, and I'm willing to listen to whatever marketing speech. I mean, it's like going to North Korea, going to Comcast. You have to listen to Comcast, great, Comcast, great.
Actually, I don't even think the people that work there think it's great. I just think that they all have a job and they're doing their job, and that
There's got to be somebody that thinks it's great.
Yeah, the CEO who's making mad bank, and the shareholders who are just raking in the dough.
Right. All right. So, I want to know what you guys think. I think the last thing I'd like to see answered with this whole Comcast nonsense is okay. So, if they are using data would it be possible if they're actually using data, but the data that they're using for this is actually over on the side of the television, but they figured out some way to route that into?
I don't think so. I think it's still coming in over the line. I think there's a
TCP/IP.
lot more bandwidth that is available, but your connection is throttled. So if your connection is throttled, will this count against your normal bandwidth? Because if I'm using, if I'm watching TV in my home, and maybe that's the point, is they want people to switch back and plug the TV back in. But I don't need a TV. I don't need a cable box. I've got my tablet that I watch it on. But is that eating up? I mean, it's obviously eating up bandwidth over the Wi-Fi or over the wire in your internal network. But is it eating up? Can I stream 200 megs of data independent of watching TV, or is that going to eat up my 200 megs of data that's coming in? Even though it's not counting against the cap, is it actually eating up my internet accessible bandwidth?
I think they may be now tied with Monsanto as the most despicably, disgracefully anti-competitive company in the USA.
Now, I want to say, because we rip on Monsanto a lot, and there are real people working for these companies, and I do not think that every single person who works for these companies are inherently evil, bad, or stupid.
You should probably quit, though.
I do think that you guys are working for a company that may or may not have the best interests of the future of everything in mind, and they're very...
You should probably quit, unless it's your only livelihood option, in which case, pragmatism.
Or, try to change things from the inside, maybe.
Yeah, by killing the people involved.
Let's not have to go to complete drastic measures.
Oh.
We can just,
I did that whole, sheltered white kid thing where it's like, there's only one answer. Like, my mom pissed me off. Oh, we should kill her.
No. Please
what
don't
happens.
do that. No, there have been some historical moments where that's actually the case, and that's what
we
happened.
don't endorse this. We don't endorse this.
We
don't endorse anything that we say. Anything we say, we do not believe in or endorse ever.
Moving right along. This is what happens when a world is ruined by.
This is just a quick mention.
Yeah.
It's kind of I don't know. It's a small ISP that was in one town in Stewart, up in British Columbia, Canada. Went out of business, and since it was a monopoly in that area, the entire area was out internet for months. Now, I'm not thinking that Comcast is going to go out of business anytime soon, but the way that things are, there are some companies that are smaller, and if they were to maybe go out of business in some other, some other country where there are monopolies, you're going to get something like that. And now the internet is so important to a lot of people for a lot of times their livelihood, that could really do some severe damage.
I think the problem here, though, is that when this company went under, again, back to a bunch of legal functions of who owns all of these physical lines,
mm-hmm.
and who's got to maintain them. So if a big company has a monopoly over a large area and they go under, maybe part of the reason they went under was because of the fact that they were doing something shady. I don't know. But I think a bunch of smaller companies should have been able to pick up and utilize those lines really quickly.
Yeah. We basically have to do everything we can to just get rid of this whole monopoly nonsense that's going on right now. And, there's a lot I have chit chats with libertarians all the time with this and all the other different things, and a lot of them are like, we just leave the markets alone, man. They'll take care of themselves. Don't worry about it. I'm like, no. The problem is that the game's fixed because the companies like Comcast, they're cheating. So it's like you have to regulate them. I'm sorry. And you have to make sure that they don't do things that are anti-competitive, and you have to make sure that they are not creating monopolies in their areas and that sort of thing.
I think
it's terrible that we have to have heavy-handed regulation. But right now, the heavy-handed regulation is going in the other direction because there's too much money in politics.
We're not at a point yet. I mean, we're almost there, and it's on the horizon, which is why all of us are going. Everybody needs the internet, just like everybody needed a telephone. I mean, there were even if you are dead broke and you were living on public assistance, you've got Section 8. There are subsidized phone plans for you to get a $5 a month telephone that gives you everything that you and I would pay a $40 a month for.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Because you need to be able to call 911. You need to be able to make an emergency call. You have to have electricity. These are all things that are, they're utilities. They're there. They have been classified as such because they are deemed to be a necessity. We need electricity because we need to have lights, we need to have heat, and all this other fun jazz that happens with electricity. But in all reality, the internet isn't to the point where it is that much of a necessity. It's right there. We're on the cusp.
Yeah, it's for some people maybe, but
and business. Well, no, I'm just saying we're right on the cusp where it's a necessity. Like you and me, we'd be out of a job if we didn't have the internet.
Yeah.
If you all didn't have the internet, we'd be out of a job. We're trying to connect more people. The more people get connected under these kinds of scrutinized rules, the less likely we're going to have it as a utility. It really needs to get to the point where it's right there. We're waiting.
Speaking of mobile phones and stuff, Signal. Signal just replaces your messenger on your phone or your text messaging app, and it's encrypted as long as the other person has Signal. Everything between the two is encrypted. It's great. Everyone, install it right now on your device.
I got it. I actually, this was kind of interesting because it was about, I would say about 3 months ago, I got a hold of the crypto text app or whatever the heck it was called, and then there was a Red Phone, which is the name of the other app, and the Red Phone used VoIP systems over your data on your cell phone, and if the other person had Red Phone, you'd make a VoIP call between the two, and the call data would be encrypted. So not only would you be making a phone call not counting against your minutes, you would be counting against your data, but your phone call and the data between the two you'll be encrypted. Text message is the same exact concept. They combined and now they're Signal. And it's really easy, it's simple, and if somebody on your phone list has it, it automatically knows because it's communicating with the Signal database. So
it has the Signal. I like the fact that, okay, now it's on desktop. That's the big thing right now, is now you can get on desktop and be able to chat with people. And it doesn't do anything crazy fancy yet, but I think in the future we might be expecting voice and video. That would be awesome.
That would be really great.
That's what I'm hoping for. Voice and video.
That would be fantastic.
And then you don't have to worry about Skype or Google Hangouts or any of those programs anymore that are completely not secure. In fact, if you're using Skype, Microsoft so far has been pretty benevolent with all the stuff they've been collecting, even though we've been very harsh on them. I don't think it's okay that they're collecting stuff, but so far they haven't done anything against us. But really, if you look at it the other way around, they haven't done anything against their personal business interests. Their business interests. But anyway, I digress. The Skype stuff, they have records of pretty much everything you do on Skype, and they can... I can't say anything else.
I don't like Skype. I've never used Skype. And by never used, I mean, I think I have an account just so somebody else can't impersonate me. That was really the only reason I created an account.
All right, we're going to get to some hardware.
This is actually kind of neat.
So this is just not really much of anything, but it's SSDs just showing when they're going to reach, I guess, parity as far as price goes with standard hard drives. Should be about 2017, maybe? No.
They're looking at 2017. They're going to be on the...
Almost.
It's going to be at a point where it's a 10 terabyte hard drive is, $100. Or, right now you can get like a 1 terabyte hard drive for like $50, and a 1 terabyte SSD is like $300. By 2017, that's going to be down to where it's a 1 terabyte hard drive is going to be $50 or possibly $40, and the SSD is going to be like 110 as opposed to 300. In which case, it's like, wait a minute, mechanical drive, SSD, 100 times faster, SSD. The only downside I see to this as the prices, the price gap collapses, is that we're going to see a lot more failed SSDs, or we're going to get to a point where people are going to be reliant on them completely, and you're going to end up at that point where it's going to have the bit rot in the actual NAND flash itself. A lot of your enterprise grade stuff doesn't have that as much of a problem, but it's still an issue with NAND flash in general.
We're driving it hard today.
Speaking of 10 terabyte hard drives.
Mm-hmm. I'll terabyte later on because I'm hungry.
Yeah. And
my brain stopped working because my foot's asleep again. Damn it.
Yeah.
All right, so
Anyways.
10 terabyte hard drives. HDST was first to market with these crazy 10 terabyte hard drives.
They're
Pretty
helium
impressive.
filled. They're hermetically sealed. So it is that helium filled drive, 10 terabytes. It's awesome. Seagate's going to be right around the corner.
Still conventional as far as how their platters are laid out. They're not using the SMR. SMR. Anybody out there get that joke? They're not using that just yet, but this is going to reduce write speeds by quite a lot. Anyway, I don't know. Just standard stuff. I don't know.
It'll be interesting.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Sorry.
let's go. Next. 10 terabyte hard drive is awesome.
Oh, this is awesome. So the guys over at Cyanogen,
Yeah.
they now have a way for you to root your Kindle Fire, which should have been rooted out of the box, but the thing with Kindle Fires is it's an extreme walled garden, but at an extremely low price for all the stuff you get.
So it's a $50 tablet. It's like 7 inches. It's got a relatively low resolution because it's not supposed to be
720 or something.
No, it's like 900. It's like 1080 by 900. Something really weird. Or it's like 1280 by 900. It's an odd resolution, but it's
some queer doings.
It's because it's supposed to be a reading tablet. It's not supposed to be a regular play your games on a tablet. Anyway, the CyanogenMod guys modded the crap out of it. They rooted the thing. It's a little convoluted. There's a video and there's links to the files you need to download in their video from this article. And then you can put CyanogenMod on your Android Fire and have a $50 tablet that does a lot of cool stuff. It's a little slower.
Yeah.
It's got a quad core, but it's only 1.5 gigahertz, and it's got 8 gigs of built-in flash. Because again, it's Amazon, so it's supposed to be very fancy schmancy. It's supposed to be books. But it does have a micro SD card.
That's awesome.
Which can handle up to 128 gigs.
And that's what I have right here in my hand. That's interesting. That's the main reason I want it, because I don't have a tablet right now. I got one a while back. It had a terrible TN panel that you had to hold it. I wanted to read, read in bed or whatever, and you had to hold it only in one direction, so I could only lay in bed a certain way and hold it a certain way and be able to see the damn screen. It was that bad. So it was a Lenovo. That's what it was. This would be really nice because I'll just get it and root it and throw my own damned ebook program, which is Aldecco, I believe, is the one I use.
Aldecco, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good
Aldecco,
one. I like
yeah.
that.
So I forgot which one it is. The little A thing, and I click on that. That's
It's
where
the one that
that's
makes
what
my books show up.
That's what I have. It's what it's come to. I don't even know the name of things anymore. Just to click on the A thing because I've been trained to click on the A thing. My life is weird. All right, next up on the menu today. So, we're going to talk about anti-aging for just a minute, the moral implications, and also the technology that's going into it.
And I'm going to talk about this really amazing picture.
Let's just open her right up then, shall we?
It's just look at
Nudity
this.
on YouTube. Today you're watching nudity in a pool. They're doing some illicit activities over here, some synchronized swimming.
I think this is supposed to be like the Fountain of Youth. I really don't know.
Is it?
But that's my guess. I mean, it's the only guess I can have. I have no idea what the image actually came from.
It's like, we're going to live forever, let's get STDs.
Well, yeah.
Why not?
Because
Can they
we
get
can
STDs?
heal them. I don't know. Probably.
I mean, the Fountain of Youth, but it doesn't make you invulnerable to diseases, sickness, decapitation.
No, but your immune system would work better. So, when you get decapitated, somebody could put your head back on.
And it would just grow
and
back.
It could very well not likely, reattach itself.
So
If you were
Wolverine.
in the Fountain of Youth. Yeah, the Wolverine.
The Wolverine juice. That's what they should have called it, a puddle of Wolverine juice. Who wants some?
I call it piss.
Y'all want some? I can send you some in a bottle.
It'll
it
keep
on
the
the
snakes.
store.
It'll keep the snakes away. That's what I'm saying.
Who?
Anyway, so
the reason I'm
anti-aging.
Yeah, this is all about the whole genetic stuff they've been doing with CRISPR, where they can go in and reprogram things. But there's like 40,000 genes they've been looking at, and they're trying to figure out which ones control aging. Because aging, they've been looking at it as, well, I guess the big problem here is it a bug or a feature? Because some animals don't age. Like there's some stuff in the sea that doesn't age.
It does, but then it just
cells,
doesn't.
Its cells they don't break down.
Well, no, there's a couple of jellyfish that age and then they don't. It's like they get to a certain point where like, yep, that's right, I'm 90. I'm 9. It's like, wait, what? That's how their cells do this weird. Anyway,
So it's something going on with the genes, and if they can figure out which genes to block, which they have already been successful in doing so in lab animals and extending their life period.
those poor animals. They're
now-
going to be living forever, and we're all going to die.
So listen, they think that they can actually cure aging, and there's been some. I don't know where the other article is. Where's the other article? Nope, not that one. I've lost the other article. There it is. Why did I not put them together? So we got a Harvard professor now who's saying, we can do this. We can actually cure aging. George Church. Now, the big question here is this a feature or is it a bug? What did Mother Nature intend? And if we actually block aging, what's going to happen?
A lot of really rich people are going to live forever, and I'm going to look up, there's a movie, I think it's called In Time, and that's what's going to happen.
So the people who can't live forever or whatever, or who are not going to live forever, they're going to rise up and freak out? Is that what happens
No,
in the
they're
movie?
just going to live minute to minute.
Just live a minute. Oh, it'll be just unpredictable and wild.
Anyway, you got to watch the movie. It's a really terrible movie, but it's really just referencing money, in general.
I want to know what the audience thinks about this. Like,
Yeah.
should we be allowed to live forever? Would that be good for the Earth? I don't know. If there's only a limited number of people who can receive I guess it'd be like a genetic treatment or whatever. How would they be divvied out? Should everyone get it?
Okay, so I like
Can
my
the
pop
Earth sustain everyone?
my
living
pop
forever?
culture reference is In Time. My a little more serious reference would be Methuselah's Children. I believe that's a Heinlein book. Go check that one out. And that actually talks about this concept where this entire society of people found people who lived longer, and they kind of created this family of ancestry that caused people to live longer and longer and longer. And then there was I think it was Lazarus Long was the dude's name. A couple of different books with him in it.
Now,
But check that one out. That one's actually.
I guess
because that actually touches on the moral implication.
I think it'd be interesting to be able to do this if we're, I guess, sending out colonies and that sort of thing.
There you go.
Make them live forever and send out a colony.
Yeah, spaceman, dude. We no way to put you in cryo sleep. You just get to live for 900 years, and then you get to meet up with Alpha Centauri.
Here, hold on. I can hear someone typing right now. They're saying, "You guys are idiots. You're just talking about the fact that they'll live long enough to get to another star. However, if they're traveling this many light years, you know that their body's going to deteriorate, and they're also going to get space madness, and humans can't live this long in space." Thanks, dude. Thanks for typing that. Yeah. Just don't put that on our website, only on YouTube.
Yeah.
So anyway, just let us know what you guys think about that. Oh, this is cool.
I like this one. This one actually,
I didn't even read this whole article
when you
'cause I was
first
asleep.
mentioned this to me, I kind of laughed and I just said, "Rapture is upon us," making my Bioshock reference. But then I looked at it and I'm like, this is kind of neat. I'm still very interested in what would happen during a hurricane or a typhoon.
Hurricane hurt this thing.
Guarantee it. Hurricane. Anyway.
I hate the show.
I know.
I don't like all of it. Yeah.
Anyway, this is actually really cool. Check this one out. This one's talking about skyscrapers, or the specific type of skyscraper. It's going to be 750 meters high, but it's going to start at the ocean floor, and then it's going to be built up. And most of the underside or underwater parts are going to be like hydro generators and such to keep, water's going to be flowing through there, and it's going to create some electricity and some other cool things, and it's going to rise up into the sky. You're going to have boat docks in the ground. You're going to have a lot of every floor is going to be like 800,000 square meters, and then like 20 or 30% of that is going to be parks, basically, like
green space.
Green space.
Yeah, encourage a healthy lifestyle for the citizens is what they said.
25,000 people can live there.
So each one of these giant buildings, 25, and then that pretty much sustain themselves.
And that's the idea.
So we can live forever in those things.
This one reminds me of another book called The World Inside, I believe is what it's called, and it's about skyscrapers, where an entire civilization of Earth lives inside these gigantic skyscrapers.
Pretty artwork and all that. I wouldn't mind. I don't know if I'd want to live in one of these, but interesting anyway. All right, next up on the list here.
I'd want to own one. I wouldn't let anybody else live there. Just
I'm going to skip to the video game stuff because my legs is totally asleep. Oh, one more moral implication thing. I said this last week, and they've actually the Chinese factory that's the big clone factory, the biggest cloning factory. There's other cloning factories out there. Look it up. There are other cloning factories. A lot of people are like, "Oh no, there's a cloning factory." No, there's other cloning factories. This is just the biggest cloning factory. Anyway,
a lot of clones.
Yeah, and they're all replicas of each other. What? So now they're saying that they totally could, and they totally would, clone humans, but they're a little bit worried about how people would take that.
I had two thoughts. One was an old TV show. I think it was Exo Squad, actually. I checked that one out. It was a really old cartoon back from the mid-'80s, late early 90s. Blade Runner was the other one I thought about, and Replicants. And in general, just any kind of... Any dystopian future where we had some kind of human cloning. Even Cloud Atlas referenced that quite nicely, where you had artificially grown humans or clones of people. Mm-hmm. What happens? I mean, we're still not... how do you transfer one mind to the other? Oh, is that the purpose? Or are we just going to make 5 copies of somebody?
Yeah, they wouldn't necessarily be the same. I mean, genetics can help to dictate intelligence levels like IQ and that sort of thing. But, I mean, you get into the whole, like... how they were raised and all that, and that will play a part. So the clones are not necessarily going to be identical.
Well, I guess that's
how they act.
And I guess that's the question: is do we want them to? Are we doing this? Or is this one of those things where we want it to be a way to replace our bodies so we can move our minds into a younger body? Because that would be great, but we'd have to figure out how to map the human brain.
So could we just? Well, that'd be almost like growing tissue. That'd be like sort of a different thing than actually cloning. Because, I mean, if you're making a clone of yourself, right, and you want to transport your brain and all that stuff into the new body, so you got this clone there, but if you're making a full-on clone, it's going to be a person. So would you be killing them to put your brain into them? And you'd have to let them grow up a little bit. You couldn't cram your brain into a baby. So you'd have to wait until they grow up. Ooh, I got a movie plot.
So if we've got...
So your clone... This guy keeps... Oh, man, yeah. So the guy keeps cloning somebody.
We've already got the anti-aging function here with the genetics of stopping aging. So we stop the aging in your brain. We accelerate the aging in these humans, the clones, and you have to figure out how to be able to make them show up at adult size. Let's say 25 is a good age. and then we move your brain into that.
Right.
But you'd have to take the brain out of that one.
I'm telling you, this is a
Or
great.
you have to figure out a way to copy
This
the
is
brain
a great
one.
movie plot about a guy who's been living for like 1,000 years because that's what he's been doing, and no one's caught him. They just think that his old self dies.
His name is Keanu
Rupert
Reeves.
Murdoch. No, not Rupert Murdoch.
No, Keanu Reeves.
It's
Keanu
Rupert
Reeves.
Murdoch's about to become some other young chap, and he changes his name each time.
Yes. It's a terrible, terrible travesty. All right.
The Bilderbergs. I don't even know.
I don't even know.
Dragon's
Tinfoil
Dogma.
hat. Anyway, enough with the tinfoil hat crap. Video games. This
You're
one's
the
kinda
chosen one.
neat. You know, we skipped over a really nice article, but this one's going to be
Which
pretty
one we
awesome
skip
too.
over?
The Hyperloop.
You want to talk about it?
Just briefly.
All right, fine. There is the Hyperloop article.
Go look this one up. There's Elon Musk has got his race to create the Hyperloop, and he's gonna like a half-size track that he wants to build for college research projects, trying to create one of these. But then there's actually another company that's actually building one of these, and they're trying to build it, and they want to make the way of public transportation in a town that doesn't exist yet. That's supposed to break ground this year, and it's supposed to be like a utopian kind of society where everything is completely green, and it's built in a in one of those cities that's not supposed to be able to be existent. They're gonna be like, yeah, screw you, we're gonna make it exist, and they want to make
Kentucky.
and they want to make this Hyperloop thing. Read the article. I'm trying to rush through this. There's a lot of really interesting information in here. The first half talks about Tesla and the race for the Hyperloop. The second half talks about the company that's actually looking to build a working model, or not even a model, like a working version of this. Moving along.
Dogma. Before my legs fall off.
Dragon's
They're
Dogma.
all asleep right now. Dragon's Dogma. If you guys have not played this game, it's an interesting game. I haven't actually. Well, I've.
I hope you've never played this game. It's only
console.
been available on consoles.
I actually haven't played it, but I've actually watched a lot of videos on it because I wanted it to come out for PC and I hoped it would come out on PC. And Max, when he was working with us, he talked about this game a lot.
And now it's coming out for PC.
Yeah, it's essentially another open-ish world RPG where you're the chosen one. I feel like that's the most tired thing ever. But I've been reading because I was really worried when I saw that. And then I started reading around in some comments and stuff. And apparently this game kind of like turns the whole chosen one, trope kind of on its head.
That's awesome.
Somewhere in there. And I was like, oh, interesting. They were like, oh, wait till endgame. The whole chosen one thing is going to be totally different then. I was like, I don't know because I haven't played it, and don't spoil it in the comments.
Some of the game dynamics I thought were really interesting. Like, you've got big bosses. You're not just smacking at them. You can actually climb up them and like stab them in the back.
Sort of like Shadow of the Colossus style.
Yeah, I think that's kind of neat.
And also that other game that's coming out soon from Adult Swim, 2D side-scroller, Norse mythology.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Damn it.
That dude's going to kill us.
All right. I'll let you go on about this. Why
Okay.
am I scrolling so much? I'm sorry, everyone.
Yeah, well, this is
Why are we
fine.
not on the top of the page? There we
I don't
go.
know. We were scrolling down looking at stuff.
Psychonauts 2.
Psychonauts 2. Tim Schafer was like, hey, everybody said Psychonauts, and they re-released it. And when they re-released it, they sold twice as many copies as they did when they originally released it. And
Yeah, man.
now they want to make a second one, so they need your help. And
Oh,
they're
Jesus,
doing
that's
this.
huge.
There you go. That's the dude.
Let me talk about the gameplay for just a minute, because Psychonauts, when it first came out, was extremely fun. And it was a game that was a platforming game. I guess the gameplay, if you just 3D action platformer, kind of like the Mario 64, that's
Mario
the control
64,
scheme.
Spyro, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The fun part about this game is that you have psychic powers, and all of the different levels are played inside the mind of someone. And so some people are like stuck in the 70s and it's like a funk fest, and some people are like really military, so you get in there and it's just like a battle zone. And so each mind that you jump into is a different, insanely fun experience. Some of them are difficult, some of them are fun, some of them are strange, and getting into each character's mind made the levels the levels have more variety than any game I've ever played. Period. So
I like this game. I'm really stoked about this. And they're not doing this on
Hey, she's
Kickstarter.
back.
They're not doing this on Kickstarter. They're not doing this on Indiegogo. They're doing this on Fig. And what's really interesting about Fig is there's two investment options, or two backing options. One is the standard Kickstarter Indiegogo reward model, where you give a lot of money and you get a cool toy. You get the game. You
It's
get
a nice looking
you
website.
get rewards. The other model that's on this on Fig
You
is
scroll down
an
to it. Sorry
investment.
for the scrolling, everybody. Keep your eyes closed. It'll be over in a minute.
I'll just wait. We're waiting for it. Anyway, it's going to be more of an investment model. And
There it
the
is.
idea
Register to
is
invest.
that you invest a chunk of money, and then you basically, when the game sells a certain amount, you get a return
double.
on your investment.
It's kind of like you're doubling your money.
If it sells 3 million units and you invest $500, you double your money.
Yeah, but it'll be based upon the how many of the sales. But I think, the desire for this game is there. The other game has sold millions, and it's actually done better since they repolished it and re-released it on GOG.com and everything like that.
Yeah,
They
like I said,
re-released it on Steam.
The original, they've doubled the original sales number. Not
by
not
re-releasing it.
But not the.
Weird.
We had the original sales number, and then we added the original sales number to it. I mean, no, it was the original sales number. The re-release sold twice as many as the original. That's such a convoluted sentence.
Yeah, but there it is, and I'm really looking forward to this game. So.
Yeah, and if you pay enough money into the backing, you actually get to design a level. You get to make a level based on what's on your mind.
How much you guys want to give us money to give them, so we can have a
that was
we
something.
can have a cane mode level.
That would be crazy. But that's actually something I thought about. It's like, what if we, everybody wants to put a little bit of money into this, but what if we were able to band our money together, put in a large chunk of change to this, and then communicate to to these guys at Double Fine and say, hey, we had 1,000 of our people put money together. We put some of our own money in it, and we came up with
like
this
a
cash
Tech Syndicate themed level.
Can we do a Tech Syndicate themed level? And because it was 1,000 of you guys or however many put money into this, could we convince them to go ahead and give you guys a copy of the game as well? Because I think that would be fine. Especially when you look at how much money we'd be putting into it.
Yeah, and then if they don't, we'll just have to beat them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just it.
Well, let's get the DRM free. I mean, hi, how's it going, guys?
Now, I also want to know what you guys think of Fig.co, and when we do our Zweihander fundraising thing, whenever that's ready, probably in the next few months, maybe we'll have enough to show you guys to raise the funds, and I think some of the mechanics in the game you guys are gonna like a lot. Anyway,
I'm really hoping so.
Should we use Fig.co so that you guys can actually make some money back from the game sales? I'm all for, if you guys invest in the game, you get a copy of the game, but you also, if you invest a chunk of change and you want to see a return based upon sales, I'm for this model.
I think that's the one thing about the investments part of this is that if you invest, I don't know if you get a copy of the game. We'd have to look into this a little more. At least, we'd have to dig a little more into this. But I think it's one of those. Somebody may just want to invest money into it. They don't really want to copy the game.
Units, yeah. Actually, more than doubled.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, guys. My leg is so asleep that I can't feel anything.
We'll get something to eat.
I don't even know if I can feel food anymore or taste it.
It's a terrible travesty.
So yeah, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this terrible episode. Sorry it wasn't as good as it should have been. Sorry.
I know.
Terribly.
Wendell wished he could be here. He said he would love to be here.
We've got to find a place, guys. So it was either this or nothing. So anyone who's about to complain, it was this or nothing. And just remember that. And thanks everyone for helping us out on Patreon. It's really going a long way to helping us. We've got Kane here now, and we're going to be as soon as we get back from China and finish the move, you're going to really see some cool stuff happen. So,
yeah, we got a lot of stuff lined up.
See you guys in the comments.
It's hurting my brain how much.